All right, Auto Recyclers fam, we're back today. I figured I'd give you a little recap. It's kind of been a busy week that we haven't done a lot of videoing. It's been a lot of mud and that sort of stuff around here. Whole bunch of little stuff, taking care of the Tacoma. So I figured I'd run you through what Megan and Cali have done on the Tacoma. It's pretty much done, and let you see it. All right, we moved the Tacoma out here to the warehouse, and it's pretty much done. There's still a few pieces of red you can see, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. We got the bed back on it. We got the new back bumper on it. I think it came out pretty good, really, for what it is. I think Cali did really well. There's still a little bit of touch-up stuff we got to do, but overall, it really looks good. I'm really happy with it. So, you know, it's our old truck back, at least. So it come out looking good. I'm pretty happy with it. And then on the inside, we did we put a Boss Audio stereo in, one of them Apple CarPlay Android Auto stereo, and it's really neat. I was gonna put an Alpine in here, and we had a Pioneer in here, and it was okay, but it didn't do the hook to your phone kind of thing. And so we really wanted it. I like running my Onyx off-road on here. We're doing it in the tow trucks. I did it in here. So, you know, I really like the Boss stereos. I put the one in the Dodge just because it was inexpensive, and I liked it so much that instead of putting the Alpine in this truck, I ended up putting the Boss in this one as well. And then we ended up ordering another one for the F650 rollback, and I'm going to put another Boss in there too. I just like the fit, the finish. The touchscreen's really nice. It's convenient. The sensitivity's good, and you know, the microphone's really good. It's better than the Alpine for sure. So, you know, it's one of them things where we're gonna move forward with that. My rollback's coming in next. We kind of just had to kick it in the butt and get the Tacoma done so we could do other stuff in the shop. So it's just a little recap video on what's with the Tacoma, and then I'll go into the shop right now and I will show you what we're at, or where we're at, on the little square body short bed. The other huge news is mud. Mud everywhere. It is way worse than average this year. The problem is we got freeze and thaw, and then we had a really wet February, and so basically every time it freezes, it just pushes down and loosens up dirt that's below it and makes the mud deeper. So usually all these driveways are pretty packed in and pretty solid, but with this freeze and thaw that we've had this year, it has just made it unbelievably deep. Like out in the yard, basically you got to run around in four-wheel drive. And you know, the Dodge, I was out driving around the yard in it today, and it was in four-wheel drive, and I kind of almost thought I was going to be stuck a couple times. So we'll head over to the shop and look at some of the other stuff. So I forgot to mention, and I just remembered walking down the driveway when I saw it, we bought another project. This is a 99 C6500 top kick, or Kodiak, I guess is what it is, because it's a GMC, but a tow truck. I've known this truck since it was pretty much new. One of the local tow companies in town had bought it new, and I had the opportunity to buy it, and I think I like it, and I think it'll be a good truck for, you know, heavy lightweight tow and recovery stuff. So I'll walk you around that real fast. So here's the truck. Like I said, it's a C6500. It's got the cat 3126 in it, I think is what it is, with automatic transmission. We're still learning a bit about it. It's two-wheel drive. It does sit fairly high. It has a dynamic 701 auto loader. They call it a BTW, I think, because it's got the other boom on it. All electronic controlled boom. No hydraulic handles on it, which is new to me. I'm still trying to figure that out. We got most of the functions work, but some of them don't. And there's some stuff we got to do on the auto loader. But overall, I mean, it's a heavy duty truck. Dynamic built some really good stuff. So this is going to be one of the new ones we're going to put into our stuff, or into our lineup of tow trucks. But it's got like 109,000 miles on it. It didn't really get drove a lot. It does fire up and run. It hasn't been ran since 2015, so the fuel's really old. See if we can start it here. Basically, I started it up and drove it out to the yard. Hadn't been driven since 2015 or so. Everything seems to work on it other than the park brake, and it's got that electric over hydraulic over mechanical or whatever deal. It's kind of a abomination of a park brake setup, but we got to get a light bar for it and a few other things. I do think the exhaust is cut off, but it does run. It is loud. We'll work on that, but I think once I can get the boom to come down, then we'll put it in the shop and do some work to it. But literally, we went out and bought a brand new battery for it. We had 2 flats on the left rear duals. We took them into Tire Den and had them put a couple used tires on it just to get it out here, because I figured there's no point in putting new tires on it until we, you know, get it ready to do something for sure. So that's kind of an interesting one, but it does run and drive. It cruises down the interstate. I was pretty careful with it. Ran about 60 miles an hour with it, which was about all I dare do on tires that are old, and the plates are from 2015, 3 of 2015, so it's been a minute since it's been on the road. But I mean, really, the more I drove it, the better it got. It's got some damage on the hood and a few things from kicking around, but I think it'll be a good truck. And I like old stuff. It's kind of fun. And they used to call this thing, I guess, Tyrone used to run it, and they called it the Turtle. So I think they were just going to keep it as that. It kind of looks like a turtle, and I guess it's not very fast, so we'll just keep calling it the Turtle. Them 3126 motors were not, they weren't a powerhouse. They were, you know, I think they were like 195 horsepower or something. But it's really clean, and that's kind of what sold me on it. The fact that when they started it up, and it did fire right up, the oil was good. You know, it doesn't look like it's had that much use. It's just kind of had a little bit of a roughish life, but it doesn't really have oil leaks. Everything seems to work, at least all the electronics, and even the radio works, that sort of stuff. So I think it'll make a pretty good truck, really, for what I paid for it. So we're going to look at that for upcoming stuff, and then be able to use this in some of our easier off-road recovery stuff, and some of the videos coming up, plus all of our on-road stuff. It'll be a lot easier to drag a 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck up an embankment or out of a ditch with that, rather than having it with our small trucks. And then we're back in the shop. So I figured I'd give you a little recap on the 86 Chevy short bed 4-wheel drive, where I'm at on it. I've done some work to it, and so I'll run you through what I've got on it. As you can see, we got the grill and the headlight doors in it, and everything seems to fit pretty good. It took a lot of work, and it was pretty much tedious work. We had to pull, this is a cheap aftermarket grill, so we had to pull these chrome pieces off and move them. They don't quite fit as well as I wish they would, but really for a cheap grill, it's like a $60 grill. It's not too bad, it fits okay. This is a strip we took out, and the emblem we took off of one of the broken grills. Headlight doors are new. And so it fits in there pretty good, and actually it makes the truck look like a truck again. So I'm pretty happy with it, really, for what it is. It's kind of getting to the point where I can almost drive it around now. The other thing we did was we had a bunch of vacuum leaks, and so we replaced this hose, we replaced the hoses back there. I was having problems with the heater. The blend doors all run on vacuum, and none of them were working because of a broken vacuum line up at the top. So we fixed all that. We got all the new vacuum lines in it, and that helped a bunch. It helped the idle, it helped how the truck runs. And so basically, you know, I went to battle with the heater after I fixed the vacuum leaks, or the blower motor. It wouldn't turn on. And so we pulled the gauge cluster, or the cluster bezel, I guess would be what you'd want to call it, and got it all out, and then took the heater AC control out, and something just didn't feel right for some reason. But I checked for power and didn't see power at the switch, and was having problems, couldn't figure it out. And finally I looked up a wiring diagram for it, and it realized that on the blend door settings, the top slide switch there, up there, it actually has electrical connection on it, and it wasn't plugged in, and that's what didn't feel right with it. Because I knew there should have been a plug instinctively, and I've had a million of these trucks apart, but it wasn't plugged in. And so basically I just kind of missed it for a little bit, until I looked at the diagram, and then I remembered that it should be there. And so I reached around in the dash and found it, and I guess it had fallen off, or somebody hadn't put it back on when they put it back together, or whatever. But plugged it in, and now the blend doors work. The blower motor works on all the settings, which is good. I took all the spare parts that I'd pulled, the relays and the different stuff, and we put them in our inventory for sale, so that'll work. Other than that, I think it's pretty much about the same. We'll fire it up. So yeah, it runs pretty good now. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I can probably start driving a little bit more. Ray was kind of on me about getting it all muddy, because mud causes rust, and rust eats these square bodies. So you got to kind of keep it clean, or I got to kind of keep it clean, I guess. So I think we'll start moving towards getting this thing ready to be a daily driver for me, or something fun to drive around. So I guess that's about it for what we've had for the week. It's been a little bit of a hectic week and different week. I mean, it's been a whole lot of hurry up and wait stuff. And so videoing would have been really hard. I was just doing a few little stuff here and there to try and get what we got done. So, you know, now I figured I'll just do a recap for this week, and we'll head into next week. So until next week, thanks for watching.